What's going on, everybody? The WGC is in the building, dealing with a few technical difficulties, but we got it running. What's up, everybody?
What's up, man?
Good.
What's going on?
That's good.
Hey, man.
All right, so we're about 4 weeks in, right? Y'all excuse that.
Already?
I think we're about 4 weeks in, right?
Yeah.
And we got the whole crew in the building. What's up, John Keegan in the chat? Let's go ahead and get everybody introduced, just in case this is somebody's first time. Starting with the first one I see on the screen, Strizer. What's up?
Hey, how's it going? I'm Strizer. You can call me Clint. You can find me at Strizer2 Wrestling. Cover all games wrestling. Thanks for inviting me again. Nice being back.
Inviting you, part of the team, man. What do you mean? Well, we got a name reveal, so he's gonna invite Clint now, y'all.
Well, some AEW slander. I mean, this guy. No.
Shout out to Clint. All right, we got Brian up next. What's up, Brian?
What's up, man? Just Brian. You can find me there for any speculation, news, all that. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all being here today again.
All right, shout out to Brian. What's up, Beast? Let him know where to find you
What's
at.
going on? Find me on YouTube, Loaded as a Beast. Follow me on YouTube. Same name on all socials. I mainly cover AEW, but hopefully they have more content soon. So we'll see what happens.
All right, you asked me off camera, but are you going to be streaming Spider-Man? Or posting any
I don't know.
clips?
Maybe clips, yeah.
Maybe clips.
I might post some clips.
All right. Mr. Dubs, what's up?
What's good, everybody? Mr. Dubs here. You can find me on YouTube at Mr. Dubs8426 or on Twitter at Mr. Dubs86. Either way, just search up Mr. Dubs and you'll find me playing video games or reviewing video games or previewing video games. Lots of wrestling, but lots of other shit too. Enjoy.
Oh, man, I think it's too early for profanity, man. You got to relax. Kiddo.
My bad. That can affect the algorithm? My bad already.
So. Kiddo, what's up?
Uh-oh.
Tony Khan approves.
Yes.
Hello. You can find me at Keto the Goat 13. I also like to swear, just like Mr. Dubs here. So you've been warned. Yeah, I do a bunch of wrestling stuff. I'll be doing a lot of AEW stuff right now, and then RPG games and all sorts of video games. You can find on my channel, Keto the Goat 13.
Kiddo,
Welcome.
go. All right, and everybody, I'm Kenny Baum. If this is your first time checking out the channel, Kenny Baum 4K on Twitter, Kenny Baum on YouTube. I cover wrestling, Mortal Kombat. I'll be streaming Street Fighter, the most unfocused channel on YouTube, so you might find anything, so make sure y'all tap in. All right, guys, so we had a pretty interesting week in wrestling, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially one thing I saw Brian talking about a lot was Tony Khan on Twitter. Twitter fingers, Tony Khan.
Oh, man.
But I noticed after you called him
Can't
out,
stop.
you know, and everybody was calling him out, he kind of calmed it down. How do y'all feel about Tony Khan's tweets? Let's start with you, Strizer.
Well, I think it's a bad look for the company and for him himself. He should kind of be like in the shadows, doing stuff behind the scenes instead of doing these rants on Twitter and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know, when you put yourself down like that or make yourself look like an idiot, you kind of drag your whole empire down with you, especially on social media nowadays.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's my 2 cents.
All right, I know you did a whole video on it, Brian. Y'all make sure y'all go check that out at Just Brian. Type in Just Brian AEW, he'll come right up. What do you think about Tony Khan crashing out?
Oh, man. Honestly, I just think there's a lot more issues to be crashing out about at AEW, like the stuff where they made like that comment on TV and he did not talk about that at all. I mean, it just depends on who took offense to that and who didn't, but I just thought that maybe that could have been something that he might have gone on social media and apologized for it to happening, but instead he cared more about, the ratings, this, that, and the other. And I just don't see WWE making those comments, which makes him actually look better in this situation. I think he has to stop focusing on what WWE is doing and start focusing on his own product, because unfortunately his product is going down the drain a little bit. So
we'll definitely have to talk about that when we get to me. But make sure y'all leave y'all thoughts and opinions in the chat. Once we finish going through the team, we're going to see what y'all got to say about it in the chat. How do you feel about it, Beast? What do you feel about these Tony Khan tweets?
I think he needs to take the L and stop being a sore loser. And I don't know why you put down John Cena and Taker on Twitter. Like he literally laughed about how they couldn't get over 1 million viewers. I'm like, bro, they still beat you, and you had Adam Copeland on your show. You couldn't get over 1 million. You couldn't even get 800,000. Book better shows, and more people will actually show up and maybe buy a ticket.
How do you feel about it, Mr. Dubs? With the NWO shirt on.
The OWO.
Oh, OWO.
Local wrestling.
Okay. Oh, shout out to
Local
OWO.
I definitely think that he's a mastermind, that we're not seeing the brilliance of it yet. I think exactly what he wanted to come out of all these tweets is happening. Everybody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about NXT and how, like, you get the Braun Breaker Undertaker, great. But more of the conversation now is about his tweets. They're about, he tweeted over 1 million. Controversy creates cash. He knows this. He's followed wrestling for a long time. I think this is exactly what he wants, because you paying attention to him tweeting about John Cena, Taker, and ratings also makes, like, his next tweet that's dropping right now about, and we have at so-and-so wrestling Kenny Omega. We have so-and-so. It gets you to pay attention. It gets your eyes on it. And of course they were going to lose. They're not on their night of the week. It's Tuesday. That's like Raw going on Thursday night on Sci-Fi and saying they didn't do 1 million viewers. Like, dude, they weren't on their night of the week.
They'll still beat them any night of the week. They'll still beat them.
But they proved they beat NXT.
They did.
You can bring Raw and SmackDown and call it NXT, but Raw and SmackDown will always beat AEW. So I don't know where the surprise was anywhere. You brought Raw and SmackDown to NXT. I don't watch NXT, but I watched that. That to me wasn't NXT at all. That was Raw and SmackDown with a couple of NXT matches. That's what that was. So that to me isn't a surprise they won in any way, shape, or form. But if you did it on a Wednesday, if NXT moved to Wednesday and you brought all of the Raw and SmackDown guys to Wednesday and they had that same battle, I think AEW's numbers are going to be higher, but NXT still might win because you brought Raw and SmackDown to Wednesday. But in that case, with NXT moving nights, I think it'd be a lot more of a closer fight.
All right.
And I think what he's doing is great
with the tweets. Agree.
I think he's doing a great thing. He's putting eyes on his product. He sounds like a lunatic, but everybody's covering it. Everything I see on my YouTube feed for wrestling is Tony Khan's lost it. Tony Khan's but it's putting eyes on the product. In a good way or not, it's the controversy creates cash argument. And I think I think it's all intentional. I think he's a lot smarter than people give him credit for.
I do have a quick rebuttal for that though. I think you do have a good point, because like bad attention can be good attention. It is what it is. As long as you're getting the eyes on your product, it is what it is. I just feel that he may be getting those eyes on the product, but how long is he retaining them for? Because when you go and watch the show, we're just talking about just wrestling. There's really nothing captivating at the moment. I mean, the Adam Cole and MJF storyline was pretty cool. I think we can all admit.
Yeah.
There's a few things I like on AEW right now. I think Samoa Joe, just watching him, I could watch him for an hour with the cigar.
I mean, he's very entertaining.
With scotch. Yeah. I think they need to work on their storytelling, but the few stories they are telling are very captivating at the moment. They're just not telling enough. They haven't told any women's stories since the whole time Paige had the title. Soraya had the title. They didn't tell a single story with her.
Bad.
It's fine. If she can't wrestle and she's not able to wrestle, you can run stories. Britt Baker had some of the best character work when she was injured in the wheelchair early on in the AEW days. So they can easily tell stories. And I don't like, myself personally, what they're doing with Adam Cole on TV, with the too funny and the gimmick and the I'm not loving that, but I am enjoying what Bullet Club Gold are doing with MJF. I think the controversy recently, we'll see where it goes. But I love the Samoa Joe segments. I think they just need to work on their storytelling a lot more, because we know they can have a 5-star match 10 times in a night. It's not going to matter. It's not going to boost your rating.
For sure.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying.
It's
Before
too much.
Y'all jump out and have a Royal Rumble.
I need a
Let's
reason
get
to care.
starts.
Yeah,
I don't want y'all to jump through the screens at each other.
Yeah. Your heated discussion left me with a lot of questions. Like, what constitutes a 5-star match? Is it just the moves? Because I don't think so. It's also the storytelling, which, like you said, Mr. Dobbs, they got to work on. And like, there are a lot more things about AEW that I don't like than I do, to be honest with you. But yeah, I gotta admit, like, sometimes, like, some of the stuff they do, like, they really hit right. And I wish, they paid attention to storytelling, because then we would have a lot more beautiful things coming out of AEW. As far as Tony Khan, the way he acts on Twitter, it's just like one, I guess it's not one word, but like one name comes to my mind, and it's like snake oil salesman. That's how I feel. Like, sure, he brings attention, but I don't know, like it's not every attention or all attention isn't good attention, you know? It's like, and I also get very mad that like people in the last week, I guess, are saying like, oh, Tony Khan is crazy on Twitter. He must be stopped. As if like this has been happening for a week. No, this has been happening ever since the conception of AEW. Like he has always been like this. And it really does just like drag the company down. Like I was watching the Pat McAfee interview once again with Vince McMahon, and like I was thinking to myself like how rare that is. Like it was insane just to see him having a normal interview or like a podcast style interview. Like it was like you're seeing a very rare Pokemon or something, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, like you don't have to speak at all. You do not have to like scream on the top of your lungs on Twitter. Make a good product that is great to watch. The viewers will come. The attention will come. Just focus on your product. Like it's really crazy because I remember when the company first started, he was talking about, oh no, this is an alternative to WWE. You know, the things they're doing, they're cool, but we're not gonna talk about them. We're just gonna focus on our own things. Like, where the hell did they go? Like, I guess it's out of the window now. And yeah, it just makes me sad. It makes me sad because in Turkey, there's basically no professional wrestling. And that's where I'm from, by the way, just to let everybody know. And like me and like 20 of my friends did like very amateur pro wrestling shows, completely amateur with barely any training that we got from like Germany and other European wrestling schools. And like there was more professionalism there than I see sometimes in AEW, which blows my mind, which absolutely blows my mind. So I am really completely opposite, like against Tony Khan acting the way he's acting. But I guess it's just, you know, the way he grew up, or it's down to his age and to his personality. But I wish somebody was like, okay, Tony, come back here, hide, stop. But yeah, that's it. Yeah. I can speak for 10 years, so I'll just stop here.
No, we appreciate it. But I do have to say this. You know what? Looking at AEW and what the product is, I don't mind Tony Khan actually crashing out and doing this thing on Twitter because we live in a different age. Back in the day, they used to do it on live TV, like WCW would take shots at WWF and then vice versa. Like Triple H and the guys went over to the WCW arena, and I mean, that's unprofessional. But what do we have today in our hands is social media. So if you have a thought, you can put it out there. And he's just trying to take up for his brand and his company. He knew they had to move to Tuesday night and it wasn't going to be good. So he kind of tried to put on that packed show, but WWE said, okay, you know what? We're going to throw The Undertaker at you. We're going to throw John Cena at you. So Tony Khan really didn't stand a chance. The way I look at AEW right now is, like, back in the day, WCW was the giant. And they used to beat WWF every week. But WWF put on those good stories and finally got to a point where they overcame and they won. AEW was in the spot WWF was back then because Tony Khan is just getting into this wrestling stuff, whether he was a fan his whole life or not. I mean, he's not experienced with doing all of this booking and stuff, and he's doing it by himself. It took Vince McMahon, Vince Russo, and what was the other guy's name? Ed Ferrara, to help him write that show.
Ed Turner?
Ed Ferrara, yeah. And they actually overcame WCW, who was the giant. So Tony Khan can actually do it with AEW because I see the potential in it. I mean, everybody loves WWE because it is the monster, and this is what we grew up with. But if Tony Khan puts the time in and gets the right help, I think he can make something big out of AEW. Now, I know wrestling isn't as popular as it was back then, but why can't it be? I mean, if he's putting on something different than what WWE is doing, it's a way, you know, he can build that brand. So it's just not dead. When it first debuted, I think they had like 1.6 million viewers, so people weren't interested. But for whatever happened, you know, they didn't get to the point where they could keep those people. And now it's hard for them to get over that million viewers. So he just needs to, I don't know if he's like, maybe has too much pride to get somebody to help him, but he has to reset and figure out what's going on and figure out what he can do to get these people back in, because the Edge is not going to do it, just like a CM Punk didn't do it. Everybody says they need CM Punk because of what's been going on in this company. I mean, that's why it's going downhill. CM Punk's last few shows did not draw over 1 million viewers. When he came back, the numbers pretty much didn't change. So you might be able to get more people in the arenas, which is important, but to the overall grand scheme of things, one person is not going to fix it. Tony Khan's going to have to.
That's a great point right there.
Yeah. He's going to have to get somebody in there with him.
I do have a comment on what you said, though, like about him needing help and getting help. Hasn't he hired a number of people to do exactly that? Like, I can't remember the names of all of them, but I know he talked a lot about Bryan Danielson being directly involved in a lot of the creative, especially when he was injured. He was getting him and his input on anything and everything. And they were spending days together working on storylines, everything. And I think he needs more of that. He just needs to, because Bryan Danielson made it clear that he doesn't want to do that after retiring for 20 years. He made it clear that like he wants to spend time with his family, but he needs more minds like that to, bounce ideas off.
Go ahead, Kiddo.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like I mean, he could maybe give people more roles or like more agency and creative whatever, but he's the king. At the end of the day, he is the king. He, like what he says goes. It's his vision 100%, and that's the big problem. He doesn't have the experience to, I don't know, go up against the WWE right now. Like, he's been a fan. Like, we all love playing video games, but ask us to develop our own video game. Yeah. It's not gonna, I don't know. So, like, a lot of people are saying that what I'm about to say is not original at all, but like, I don't know, hire some well-known person that has done great booking in the past and make that your mentor. And learn under him for a couple of years and then take the reins completely. Like, that'd be so much beneficial, I think.
But should he bring in a Vince Russo? You said somebody who's already done it before.
Not Vince Russo. No.
Paul Heyman.
I don't know if we want Paul Heyman.
Well, with Vince getting creative control taken away, why not Vince McMahon? Another crazy.
Yeah, no thanks.
That'd be a big
we saw the last 5 years of that.
That'd
be a big swerve. What if he brings in Shane?
He would turn into UFC.
I think there's zero chance for everybody that you guys are naming.
I know for sure.
What's the Rock's guy that he stole from WWE? Brian Gewirtz or something?
Oh yeah,
we need him.
Hey, what do you think about it, UTV?
Me personally, like, I mean, I think a lot of us feel the same way. Like when we're gaming, it's just that competitive nature. He likes to compete. But I mean, at the end of the day, we got to come to the realization. WWE got what, a 30, almost a 40-year head start?
Yeah.
I think AEW can be at its highest peak. They can. But whatever they do, I'm just keeping it real. WWE is going to beat them. And me personally, although I may prefer AEW, I can admit that NXT beat them. But that doesn't mean that I'm just going to be like, oh, AW this, AW this, AW this. But what I will say is they definitely need to do a better job with the storytelling. Yeah, there's something here and there, but it's like every single time we're in the same exact boat. We come off this insane high with a previous pay-per-view and we're like, oh my God, that was crazy, that was crazy, that was crazy. But then what's next? What's going to happen after that? Where do we go to from there? Like, let's get along with these stories. Because you can look at the UFC. I'm a huge MMA fan. When you get these type of fights, like these, I'm talking about these blood feuds, John Jones and Daniel Cormier, you can look at these fights and you're like, oh shit, these motherfuckers do not like each other. This is about to be a banger. But then you're looking at these other fights, you'd be like, yeah, it's going to be all right. It's all about the storytelling, man, at the end of the day.
Yeah. Right, and they've shown that they can actually tell stories. I think one of you guys said last week that it was probably Adam Cole under the mask that the guys who attacked Jay White. Did one of y'all say that? I think that would have been a good story if it turned out at the end MJF was unaware that it was Adam Cole, but it turns out that it was. But he got injured, and it looks like they had to kind of put a pause on that. Julia Hart, that's one character they built up. They built her from the ground up to be a star. They say Jade Cargill wasn't a star in AEW. Now WWE is going to make her a star. Jade Cargill is going to be a star in WWE because AEW made her a star before she got there. Turning down that contract was the best decision she made to go be made in AEW first and then make that jump. Now she's being positioned as a superstar. And Thunder Rosa just said it herself. She said, if I go to a different company, I want to be positioned like that. I want them to make me feel like a superstar. So AEW can create stars. It's just being consistent with it. Like, they build these people up. Like, Mr. Dubs, you just said Britt Baker was in a wheelchair and she was telling a great story at that time. Where's Britt Baker right now? She's out taking care of Adam Cole. But before that, she was not on TV. She was like, you know what? I'm the Undertaker now. I don't need the belt. Like, no, you need to make yourself into a star.
They just have too many people on the roster, though. They already have 30 belts, right? Between ROH and everything else. They like try and put a belt on everybody to be like, look, Samoa Joe's still got the TV title. Like, who cares, right? Yeah. It's not the belts. It's literally just it's TV time. And I would rather see Samoa Joe in a segment with a glass of scotch and a cigar, and I'd rather watch that for 5 minutes than watch him squash some guy I've never heard of from ROH in 3 minutes, or have a competitive 5-minute match. Like, I don't need to see Samoa Joe wrestling every week if I have this awesome character to watch and see character development and then see him come wreck somebody, right? Yep. Same thing with Powerhouse Hobbs and Wardlow. I don't need you to come out for these squashes. I'm way more interested in Hobbs at the moment than I am Wardlow, because like he's actually he's not squashing jobbers. He squashed Chris Jericho. That's interesting, but let's see something develop with that, right? I don't want to just have him come out for 5 minutes every week. Like, that doesn't do it for me. The Ryback build, the Goldberg build, it's like it's been done a million times. I don't need to see big man squash X. I want to see development in story, and that isn't developing story.
Do you think they should unify some of the titles because there's so many of them?
I think
there's a lot of titles on there, but they have to do something.
Get rid of them.
I think they got to get those Ring of Honor belts off of TV. I think they need to stop putting those New Japan belts on AEW TV. They need to have their titles and keep it at that. Now, I like what they're doing with the what do they call it? The International Championship. I like how that's the championship. The champion who comes
I love how that title's been handled.
Yeah. That champion comes out first. They have a banger match, and then they go. And like Orange Cassidy had the belt for so long, putting on those banger matches, it made him look like he was the guy in AEW for a long time, just a workhorse. And then dropped it to Mox, and I bet he was expected to do the same thing before he got hurt. What's their other titles? The TNT Championship is fine. Christian has it. I think that's the one that it's kind of like their Intercontinental Championship, I guess, like the guy who's supposed to be like next up. But what else? What other titles do they have? Just the World Championship, right? Well, those are the three.
TBS and women's. Which one means more right now?
Yeah. So
which one means more right now? The TBS or women's?
It's supposed to be.
Always been that way.
I'd probably take TBS right now.
That's what I'm saying. They've had way more focus on the TBS title than women's now for a long time.
They definitely devalued that title a lot.
Yeah. I think they need
ever since what's her name got injured, since Britt Baker's buddy, like they was supposed to have the match at all.
Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter, yeah.
Ever since she lost the title, that title's gone into the toilet.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, she really was.
Yeah, so I see somebody says, I'm not going to say his name, but he says cancel Ring of Honor. You know what? I know there are some Ring of Honor fans. I've never been one, so I'm not going to go that far to say it's cancel it, but keep it away from AEW because that's a mess. And I think they need to get rid of the Trios Championships. I know it was a great idea. They have some great Trios matches, but I think that's what takes it too far. I think the International Championship is fine. The TNT Championship is fine. World Heavyweight Championship is fine. That should be it for the men. For the women, do they need tag team belts for the women, though? Because they have like one women's match every show.
I'm not a fan of
single championship.
You don't need more belts.
Right.
You don't need more belts.
Hell no.
No.
Well,
I'm just not a fan of tag team women belts, honestly. Even in WWE, I'm just not a fan. I honestly think it's a bunch of women thrown together as a duo who wrestle. I mean, the way that Chelsea Green in WWE has escalated the titles a bit, where I care a little bit about the segments, has been great, and I think everybody gives her credit. It's definitely been one of the best free agent signings in the women's division for sure. But AEW does not need any more titles for sure.
But for a women's tag title, you have to have focus on the women's division.
Yeah.
What we get is a TBS spot segment and maybe a Toni Storm segment and maybe a women's title segment. That's it. They don't have enough women to spotlight. Athena's been on Ring of Honor. I don't know what she's been doing. She's one of my favorites, and I want to see her. I want to see Athena on Dynamite and Collision. There's a problem where there's just too much talent and great talent that they can't put everybody on every show. Like
that's AEW's problem right there. Like they have everything and they want to do everything without taking care of the small stuff first. Like really putting in the work. Oh, okay, let's just get to the result real quickly. Like no, you gotta care about the little stuff first.
I do have a genuine question. I haven't ever caught a Rampage episode live. What do they do on that show? Like, can't that show be more? I'm not sure. They have 3 shows, but I feel like not everybody gets time. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I think
so is there anything that they do differently on there?
I don't think so. I think it's just another show to be honest. Like
It's less important most of the time.
It definitely is less important. I mean, it almost feels like NXT before NXT really became this big thing the past year. So that's what it feels like to me. I was just wondering because it's like you have 3 shows
NXT
going on TV.
now?
Why is people not getting time? I mean, NXT feels big to me. They've been doing a thing. You a hater.
Okay,
I think that show should be literally headlined by a big name, and then the rest of the card should be building up the talent that needs storyline development, right?
And Friday's a bad night for it, just like Saturday's a bad night for Collision. They got to reset, man.
Yeah.
You know what? Wednesday.
They were trying to pick nights that aren't already used.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what?
Friday, obviously, whatever, but
Saturday nights is horrible, bro.
Horrible.
Yeah.
For a show.
But what's
It's
the
like
other
people
night?
go out on
What's the other
Saturdays.
night?
I mean,
What other night? Thursday?
I mean, you do Thursday, or you go head to head with NXT. You got to do something. I just don't think Saturday. I think Tuesday is a better date than Saturday for sure.
I don't.
Everybody's
think
using
Collision is
Saturday
the show to go head to head with NXT on a Tuesday. I think they would lose that at this point. Right now.
Oh, I mean,
I don't think
yeah,
so.
I mean,
they'd
for
have
sure.
to build that show back up. They would
I
have
think-
to build that back up.
I think Dynamite needs to be on Tuesday. Collision needs to be on Thursday. Of course,
You
you
could
don't want
always
to go
go
up
at
against
different
Monday.
times.
Okay,
They don't have
that
the
makes
same
sense.
time
I like that. That makes
But
sense.
then that's also around the TBS TNT scheduling too, because they have other sports. That's why they're on the nights.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
TBS and TNT aren't stupid, they know
You know
if they want better ratings, like go on a different night. It's a matter of programming. If they have NHL or NBA or whatever else, that's going to take precedence. So.
Maybe it's time to jump stations then. Leave TBS, go find somebody else.
Yeah.
Does
They always
Fox
go on
want
at a
wrestling?
different
Absolutely
time.
should.
I mean, if
He
Fox is
should
getting
do
rid
that,
of
yes.
if Fox is getting rid of WWE,
They're not
do they
getting
still want
AEW,
wrestling?
buddy. Just forget
No,
about it.
they're
man.
not.
Hey, anything's possible. If they can save money and still
TNT
get a
and
wrestling
TBS
show.
are the only reason AEW exists as it does today. They are the
Yeah.
only reason.
Because if I'm gonna be honest, if Fox is dropping WWE, because I heard this isn't by choice. If they're dropping WWE, they're most definitely not picking up AEW. At least right now, AEW has a lot of work to do before Fox picks them up.
But AEW is
Can
not
I ask
expensive
why-
as WWE.
Like, why are they
It's
dropping?
not, but they're
yeah.
but I'm pretty sure the reason why they're dropping WWE, as crazy as this sound, the ratings are just not for Fox. It's just not what they want, from what I've heard.
It's for how they were willing to pay the same they're paying now. They just weren't willing to give the bump WWE wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Because WWE wasn't going to not take a bump. So they're the only reason they're leaving Fox is because Fox is like, you're not worth $500 million or $1 billion or whatever
Right.
it was. You're not worth this much. We'll pay you what we're paying you now. We're happy to keep you. We're just not giving you this giant bump. Where that's where AEW could come in and be like, we're not even half the price. We don't even want half of what you were paying WWE, but on your network, we can bring you half of that viewership that you were getting. You know, price-wise, it could make sense in that aspect that they're not going to pay nearly as much as they were paying for SmackDown, and they would get probably money-wise, like the amount less they would give AEW, they would have that number in ratings, right? So it might could actually make sense.
And I would be honest with you guys, I do think if AEW were to go to Fox, I definitely think that would be a very good thing ratings-wise, because Fox is a channel that's on a basic TV package as well. Like the cheapest TV package has Fox. So having that that access to the show with just a cheap cable package or whatever the case is would definitely get more eyes on the product as well, more than it
That'll
just
make
being
a
on
huge
TNT.
difference.
Yeah.
Huge
Oh,
difference.
for sure,
Right.
for sure.
All right, guys. I don't want the chat to get too far behind. Anybody been checking out the chat? Anything
Let's
you
see
want
here.
to point out?
I saw
some-
Warfang
Shout out to
saying
Pure
like,
Elite Gaming. Shout out to C
Yeah, I was just
Grimes.
gonna
We're gonna get to the patch.
Yeah, appreciate
Shout
y'all.
out to Warfang.
I know Jay
JC
Barnacles was saying
1618.
that
Shout out
Jay
to Jay
Barnacles was saying
Barnacles.
some people in here definitely were not watching the Monday Night Wars if they think WWE and WCW were not doing exactly what Tony Khan's doing right now. And I agree with them. They 100% shots fired. Like, do you remember them having old Ted Turner, old Hulk Hogan, old Randy Savage just doing the Nacho Man? Like,
that's
they
pretty
would
much-
do everything to get the other company.
And
Both
that
of
was
them.
actually their
the
downfall.
thing is-
because
Childish shit.
when
Lot of
Mick Foley
childish
won
shit.
the title, they said, "Oh, Mick Foley just won the belt on the other side. That'll put a lot of butts in
Don't change the
seats."
channel.
And
But they did that
everybody
every
changed the
week.
channel to see it.
But
Yeah.
Nitro would do that every week
Backfired.
for years, though. Like that wasn't the first time they did it.
Yeah.
They were every time Raw was taped, they would give away the results so that you wouldn't change channel. That's
From
why
what
Raw
I've
had to
seen-
go live.
in life in general, not just in wrestling wars. If there's a losing side, they're gonna be the loudest ones.
Yeah,
they're gonna
right. Yeah, that's
throw
true.
mud to the other side instead of raising themselves up. Like no, they're gonna waste their time just talking crap. Said yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if Twitter existed back then during the WCW, WWE. Imagine the comments and stuff back and forth.
These are the reasons we have issues having crossplay, because Sony has the lead in consoles by a long shot. Of course they don't want to play ball. Why do I want to crossplay with Microsoft? Yeah. Microsoft, we have a way less player base. Oh, we have no problem. We're the good guys. We have no problem crossplay with PlayStation. No worries at all. We want you to play where you want. Because they don't have the console lead. That's the only reason. And the only reason certain games were able to force their hand is because Fortnite got so big that they're like, hey, you're either crossplay or be on your platform. And Sony's like, whoa, we can't lose out on that money. So that's the only reason. The only thing that really shifts these kinds of tides is, if they were both even, then it would make sense. But when Sony's got such a market share, and like PlayStation's really that and Spider-Man are really the only things keeping Sony afloat. Everything else is like a losing prospect for them, it seems like. That, yeah, they want to keep their stranglehold on the video games industry as long as they can. And it sucks, but that's the way it is. Whoever's the losing hand is always going to be like, look at us. We're so willing to cross-promote. Tony Khan did that early on with WWE. Oh, I'm happy to cross-promote and do all these things. Of course you are. You have a fraction of the market share.
Yep. All right, so let's go ahead and let's jump forward to the next topic. We're going to talk about the patch last. We got to save the main event for last, y'all. But thank y'all for tuning into this video, though. We got 20 viewers in here right now. Y'all, please drop a like on the video. We are a new group, and we got a lot of plans. We got a lot to do with y'all, but we need y'all support. So if y'all can, please take a second to drop a like on this video. All right, so now, before, again, we get into the patch stuff, there was word that they are scanning more wrestlers for AEW Fight Forever. Now, that is a good sign, but as we stated before, they said that they could still scan people and them not make it in the game, but I don't see them continuing scans even as of right now if they don't plan on either putting out a second game or doing another season for AEW Fight Forever. What do y'all think? We'll start with you, Clint.
Well, it makes me wonder, like in my video I said, maybe they're negotiating a new contract before they actually do anything. Because I feel like Mr. Dub said, their budget was, $10 million? Obviously blew through that real fast. So maybe they're trying to get more money before they say or do anything and finish up these new characters or new scans before we see season 2 or anything like that. I think everything is being held up by this new contract situation. Because why else would you stay quiet? Why else would you say nothing? It just makes no sense to me. And I feel like if they do add people, like who should they add to really make a difference? Because there's so many wrestlers, so much talent in AEW. Who do you add to get people to go, oh crap, I got to go check this out? And I agree with you on exactly. Yeah, there's too many. There's too many options.
You're right.
But like you said in your video about going to Game Pass and stuff, maybe they're going to wait and see how it does during Black Friday before they put it on Game Pass, PS Plus, and whatever. And then after that, maybe we'll see the content roll out and we'll see stuff what happens next. So,
yeah, I mean, that's a good thought on it. Maybe. What do you think about it, Brian?
Can you ask your question one more time, please? I kind of lost track.
Yeah, no, it's cool. So with
stargazing.
So they said that they're doing more scans for AEW Fight Forever right now. Do you think they would be doing scans to give us a season 2, or do you think they're just doing more scans to maybe roll out the next game?
I don't think they're working on the next game this soon, if I'm being honest. I think right now I think that season 2 is probably on the horizon. I think that's gonna happen sooner than them mo-capping and doing all these different things for a new game. Because right now the game has 3 months of release, 4 months of release, so it just wouldn't make sense. I definitely think season 2 is probably on the way, and I think that's the way you gotta brand it. I don't think there's no other way around it. If they decide to just add wrestlers and just keep it the way it is without adding anything new, I'll probably play it a couple times, but I'll probably just get right back off because the game needs way more stuff than just new wrestlers. I mean, it already has enough star power to get me to play. I mean, Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega, guys like that, they're already enough to get me to turn on a game. It's just, can you keep me on the game? That's just how I feel about it.
All right. What do you think about it, Beast?
I don't care who they add. I don't care who they add. Just add more match types and fix the game. And fix the game has so many issues. A lot of major issues. You could add Edge in 2 weeks. I don't care. Adam Copeland. It doesn't matter who you add. The game is broken.
Needs more content, and it can be fixed. We're gonna talk about it in a minute, but we've seen it can be fixed. Mr. Dubs, what do you feel about it right now?
First, a question to everybody here: does anybody play any other wrestling games and only do like match types versus the computer by yourself and enjoy that, and that can hold your enjoyment for hours on end? Just match types with nothing else. Like, you already have your creations, you already have your whatever. You're just playing match types. Does that hold anyone for hours just playing a CPU like that?
It depends. If I'm earning achievements and stuff like that, like complete 100 matches to get this achievement, I'll do it. I'm what they call an achievement whore. So yeah, I like to get those achievements. And if I really like the game, I'm gonna play it to get every achievement. It gives me something to do when I get finished with all the content. So
yeah. I do have, if the match types were online, different story. Of course.
Online. That's separate. I'm saying against the computer in game, because that to me,
computer in game that doesn't really matter to me. I'll play it, but it's not something that'll keep me there for hours. Now, if you tell me, hey, here's 5 different match types, you can go online and play them against other people. That's a different story.
I just mean if people actually play the game, whether it's WWE or not, like a Hell in a Cell match, and you're just playing 1v1 or a 4-way, and I get to play against Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, and whatever. Does anyone enjoy that just against the CPU for hours on end? Because I never have.
Yeah.
Just to grind
at the very beginning of the year.
Yeah. If it's in universe mode, but if you're just talking exhibition,
not universe. I'm just talking about exhibition. Just exhibition.
For me, exhibition, I play like 5 to 10 matches maybe while I'm listening to a podcast.
Yeah,
not for hours on end, though. There's no way.
Because for me, no amount of roster DLC will get me to touch this game.
Yeah.
You need to give me you need to bring a player base back for online to even function. So again, you're going to need to do something to bring the large player base, which for me is my main thing I'm going to do in these games is play online regardless. You can put in a million more match types. I'm still going to play them online. So the most I'm going to play is probably normal one-on-one, because that's the easiest to find an online match, which is sad. I would love to play the other match types. And when you get a stream together that you can do stuff like that, cool. But you need to find a way to bring the masses back before I can even play the mode I want to play, which is online, right? I would like to have a competitive online scene. I would have liked to see maybe no creative wrestlers and then tune wrestlers individually like Street Fighter does. And so you can have a meta of like 5 or 6 really strong guys because of their abilities, but then you can tune them and then someone else becomes strong. I was hoping to see that in this game with how unique the characters were with their own abilities, like hands in the pocket, sloth style, like Danhausen's got a new style. I thought that was so unique and cool that they could have turned this into, like we talked about, like an Evo type game. Mm-hmm. It doesn't look like they're going in that direction at all. And there's no DLC to me that will bring me back. Match types, great. Again, I'm not going to have fun playing them against just the CPU in the game. So unless they bring a whole new mode like a universe mode or make a way better career mode, which I do not see that coming anytime soon, unless they bring one of those two things, I'm not going to want to play single player. And for online to function, I need a huge player base coming in. So I need crossplay. I need Game Pass. I need more match types to bring those people to even play that at all. That's what I need.
Yeah. So, Mr. Dubs, I wanted to do another AEW Fight Forever stream pretty soon. I wanted to see if you wanted to jump in there.
I'm down.
Too. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'll happily jump in anytime. Yeah, anytime. Always happy to join if I'm free from my home.
All right. What do you think, kiddo?
Not any differently from what you all have said till now, honestly. It's add 1,000 wrestlers, maybe, like a crazy number like that. It's not gonna make a difference. It's like giving you all the tools, and then what are you gonna do with them? There's literally nothing to do. So content. It's everything. And it's cool that they're scanning. Like, I was not expecting that like if they're scanning new people, that does mean they're definitely planning to do something. At least they're saying like maybe we'll not even do anything, but there is a chance. So it doesn't confirm anything, but it does make it a lot more likely that we're going to see something from AEW Fight Forever, whether it's AEW Fight Forever itself or a second game. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. My thing would be the career mode again. That's usually or like something like a universe mode. But I think AEW Fight Forever cannot really do that without like getting blamed too much for like completely copying the WWE games. So maybe sticking to I don't know. I think people would like
made it, right? Didn't Ukes make
That's
the
true.
career mode? So
Yeah.
hey, this is our mode, y'all. We ain't copying y'all.
Exactly.
True.
But that's the thing, though.
Yeah,
Think
dude.
about all of the great features we got from these games when Ukes had it in their hands. Like, they could take all of those and put those in an AEW game. Like, nobody owns them. Like, they could do create a finisher. They could do create a story because they did it before. They came up with it. So AEW has the right team. I don't know if they just need to kind of get more people in that team, or like, I don't know what they need to do because they said it's a small team right now. So if they can get more people in there to build the team, like build a team like they had when they were working on WWE games, I think they can pull through.
I guess it's good management then, like someone who knows exactly what they want and goes for it. That might.
If you look them up on Google, it says their staff is 188 people. I don't know how many people it takes to make like a huge wrestling game, but you know, with their experience,
comparison,
they'd be able to do it. Yeah.
I think like I might be mistaken, but Witcher 3 was made by like 200 people, if I'm not mistaken.
But Witcher 3 is crazy.
That many people. Yeah.
That was a big
That
game.
many people, you can really make something.
I think you can. Yep. So, looking at it like that, I think they can definitely do it with that team. It's just really, I think, the funding, who wants to put the money up behind it to actually get it done. I think what they should have done was just Tony Khan should have invested that $10 million, took the loss, and whatever money they made from the game, they should have invested it back into the game. Now, it's easy to say what somebody else should do with their money, but I think if in the long run, it would have definitely benefited the company, because if they could have gotten a good wrestling game, look where WWE is right now. They wouldn't still be putting out wrestling games year after year after year if it wasn't profitable and a good part of business for them. So in order for Tony Khan to get to that spot, he's going to have to spend some money to do it. What do you think on Sanctioned TV?
Me personally, I've been meaning to make a video about this, but here's what I'll say about this so far. I feel like the scanning rumors and all that, I think that most of the scans were probably already done, and then once they realized the feedback they were getting, they probably took a step back, or they probably resumed the scans, and then they, like you were saying, they were going to make a new game. But like all of you have been saying, I quite frankly don't care, because what's all the hype about right now? You want an Adam Copeland DLC? That's cool and all. I want him in the game too. I want Swerve in the game. But my question is, what are you going to do after you get those wrestlers? Because we just had the Hook House in DLC. This is literally what I did. I opened up Fight Forever. I played with Hook, pause. Played with Danhausen, pause. And I got off the game. I literally have not opened up Fight Forever since then. And that's exactly what I'm going to do when we get these other future DLCs, if we do. We're going to need some new match types. Maybe update Road to Elite. You're going to have to do a lot more than that, because although I will say I absolutely hate the gameplay for WWE 2K23, the servers are absolutely abysmal. They're terrible. I hate 2K23 gameplay and the servers. But the amount of options you can, the creativity is insane in WWE 2K23. Although you can do more on PC, you can still do a lot more with 2K23. And also, one more thing. If you think that me and the rest of the WGC are about to shovel out an extra $30 for a season 2, you're out of your mind. Hell no.
I mean, if they got some matches in there, I'll do it. If they give me a cage match and all kind of stuff, I think we could have some fun with it.
Come on, Kenny.
Me and Mr. Dubs have fun playing on streams. And you know what?
If you give me a complete part 2, that's more than roster.
You know we're about to get some mini games. Come on now.
I genuinely enjoy the gameplay.
Yeah, me too.
I genuinely enjoy the gameplay of the game. So if you give me an excuse to play, like giving me a tornado tag match, or just take every match that's in Road to Elite that's not in the base game and make it available in the base game, that I would consider a huge update. That would get me in there. But to play online, you need to balance. Just roll out, unyielding poise, thumb, leg sweep, and eye poke. balance those 4 things, or just take them out of the game if you can't balance them. Get rid of those 4 things, and then online's not going to be such a problem.
Yeah, you've been saying this since day one.
Since day one. I've tweeted to them. I put it in the wish list. They've got that information, but they've done nothing about it.
I mean, but that would be pretty cool if they fixed all this stuff and they actually did made season 2 and I guess season 3 free. You know, let the people who bought the Elite Edition, you know, carry on season 2 and season 3 and make it free. Because if you just gave us this hot piece of garbage with season 1, and you're trying to make us pay for season 2, season 3, season 4, I mean, come on now, nobody's going for that. Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
But that's all I gotta say about that.
Would you
100%
guys
right.
like want them to take the Fortnite mode, make it offline, and just have it be a falls count anywhere match, anywhere in that area with the actual good
Yes.
gameplay, not the online
Yeah.
gameplay?
Dude,
If
that
you
would
have
be-
the actual game
Yes,
gameplay,
the actual gameplay, not the online
Fortnite
crap.
style
Yeah.
where you don't have any moves. Yeah,
I think
no,
that would
it's
be a
actual
great
game.
ad, and it's already in there. It shouldn't be too difficult to.
The assets,
Honestly,
the assets
anything
are there for
new
a
is a
cage match
plus.
and everything.
Yeah.
Like
That'd
if
be
you
awesome.
if you look
Falls
in the
count
mini
anywhere
games, but if you look through the mini games like the skate park and the different things, they have so many assets to build things. How do you think the modders were able to build like cages and stuff? Even
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
the assets are there in the game. So it really, I think, touching to your point earlier, I think they need to sign them to a new contract or something, because that 10 million's used up, and I think Tony Khan's at the point where he doesn't. I think there was a lot of money wasted in just we want this, okay, we don't want this. Cody Rhodes wants this. Cody Rhodes isn't in the company anymore. We want this. We want that. I think there was a lot of back and forth because they even said community creations. Oh, that's really important. They didn't think it was going to be important at first. You know why they didn't think it was going to be important at first? Because they didn't do anything for a creator wrestler.
Right, and they knew what that
They
looked
didn't.
like,
They
so-
clearly put this creator wrestler together in 10 minutes.
The
Right.
one thing we're all forgetting about this game, and I'm not saying this as an excuse, is COVID happened. That probably
Yes.
severely destroyed the development of this game early on. So
But $10 million, 10 million. Like, look at
they're
the
probably
guys
still
at
getting paid.
Look at the guys at Ultra Pro Wrestling. There's like 5 of them, and mainly one dude developing it. Look at Matt Dickey. Like, I'm not saying those games are incredible, but it was one dude that developed it. It didn't
And
cost $10 million.
They got to delay the game, and it goes back to like a clear, concise vision from one person. I think that's what it's needed. So you don't have an oopsie moment like 2 years into development, you know?
The biggest mistake they made was mini games. They're fun and great to play once, but it's just. But there's not even a way you can do a tournament of mini games where it's just like a Mario Party style. Like
Yeah.
if you're online, there's no way just to set it to like do 10 random mini games and have a point system to see who wins. They don't even have that. They don't. And the mini games that are in the goddamn career mode, Road to Elite, you can't even play half of them outside of it. In the mini games, we're not even talking the matches. There's mini games locked away in Road to Elite that you can't play. I don't understand why there's
man.
things locked in Road to Elite. I don't. And the DLC, they included. Has anyone checked the mini games that were supposed to be in the DLC?
Oh, you're
'Cause I
right.
haven't-
There was, yeah.
There's mini games, new mini games that were supposed to be in the DLC. I haven't
Hook House
actually
Impact?
seen. Yeah, like I haven't actually seen in the FTR pack. I didn't notice. I'm like, I
I
don't
think it
see
was the
these
Keith
mini
Lee
games.
pack it was in.
Yeah, I know
Okay.
the
But
yeah, the first
each
DLC
one was
pack.
supposed to have them though. Each one was supposed to. Each DLC
The
was supposed
Hookhausen
to
didn't have it.
the mini game. Didn't have. It was supposed to. From I remember each one having
Damn.
mini games coming in. So what's going on? Why are mini games locked away behind Road to Elite and other things? Like there's just so much that
I don't
baffles
care.
me about this game. Sure, but it's content I paid for. Where is it?
Yeah.
you
You
know.
gotta play Road to Elite if you want to play.
Yeah, I don't care.
Right?
But that means I can't play it with my daughter, or I can't play it online. I can't. You know what I mean? If it's
They
Road
don't
to Elite,
care.
I can't play it with someone else.
They don't
They
care.
did that road to Elite, buddy.
Let her play Road to Elite is what they gotta say. All right, but Strizer, you stated that there was some controversy going around. I'm sorry, Clint. I think Strizer's a cool name though, so that's why I
Yes,
keep
it's
saying
fine.
that.
It's fine.
So you said there was some controversy going around about the WWE My Faction mode. I'm not familiar with it. Anybody can clue us in?
Yeah, so they're taking wrestlers and locking them behind that mode, or skins of wrestlers, like your favorite version of let's say Triple H, or they just added Brian, help me out here. What's her name? Alexa.
They added
Alexa
Alexa,
Bliss,
Scott
yeah.
Steiner.
And then Scott Steiner, a big Papa
Yeah.
Pump, but they're only available in my faction.
Yep.
And Assemble's been on them about this on what is it, Twitter,
Yeah,
X,
yeah.
whatever. It's like every time, everything. It's like, dude, let us at least we'll pay for them, but put them in the normal game or let us unlock them in the normal game. It's so dumb to lock them behind this game.
Yeah.
And now they're after what's the status for taking those things and putting them in the to download on community creations. And so now he's getting attacked by the developers. So now you can't even do that anything.
He basically mods them out, puts them on community creations for everybody to download across consoles.
Oh,
yeah, he's amazing. Yeah,
that's cool.
He's a great guy. Yeah, he does. He's a great guy for but he's being attacked for it now.
Well, I mean,
he's definitely gonna disappear in a month.
Yeah,
mysteriously.
So I mean, they can't really do nothing to him about that, right?
I mean, he's technically breaking TOS, but they've allowed it to let it rock for a little while. But go ahead, Carol.
I remember Take-Two, which is the owner of 2K, sending private investigators to people's doors for GTA, I think, or like Borderlands. So they can go far if they want, but I'm sure it's not gonna get that big for this.
Yeah. I don't see why they do that though. I know a symbol said that he reached out to them and they said like there was a lot of people who played My Faction mode, but I mean I guess that's how they pull people in. Is there like a freedom? Is it like are you spending actual money in there or something? Like why do they want to get?
So I'll break down the mode real quick. So like as I've said before, I'm from the My Team community on 2K, so I know exactly what this money scheme is all about. Basically, what works in a basketball game isn't going to work in a wrestling game for many reasons. So basically, just to break it down, on 2K, they drop different tiers of cards. Like right now, they're on the Amethyst and Diamond cards. Those are some of the best cards at this time of year now. Later throughout the year, they'll keep dropping these crazy tiers where it's like these cards have 99 everything. So basically for WWE, the way that they're trying to get money is not by upgrading these cards, which they do, but that's not the main focus. It's the attires that they use for these cards. So for the DLC where we got Scott Steiner, it was like a hard, like I don't want to say horrible. It's just not my favorite one, the attire. But then now for My Faction, they added the Big Papa Pump, which I think we can all agree that's his best tire for sure. Yeah. So then that's like people want that. So honestly, my thing with this is I do understand that is the lock. That is the reason why they want you to play the mode. I just feel like the mode isn't as deep as some of the other Ultimate teams have it. Like Madden, they have a deep Ultimate team. You can do more stuff. Here is basically just play offline, and here's a quick online match where we choose the match type for you, and you go and play that, but you get nothing out of that. There's nothing you're going to get out of it, which that's what sucks about it, because the servers suck too. So it's like if you make the servers good and you actually expand on the mode, I think that more people would like it, including myself, because I have given the mode multiple tries, but I just feel like they just care about the money. But now to go off of that, the way that I think that they should do this is if you unlock the card, which would give everybody an incentive to go and play the mode. If you unlock the card, you should be able to play it throughout the entire video game, because I feel it being locked. Yeah. So if you open packs, whatever the case is, to get the card, you pull the card should be used everywhere around the mode. I do understand why they are doing this though, as somebody that comes from the Ultimate Team background. I understand, but it doesn't work for wrestling. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. Yeah. Either you give us a pass where people can pay for it all year round, whatever it is. If people want to dish out the money, yes, no, maybe so. Go ahead. If not, then it is what it is. But I just feel like what they're doing right now isn't working. But the fact that they do keep doing it worries me, because I feel like there are people actually kicking up money to this mode. So
it's common.
Is the answer to these wrestling games then going forward making them free to play? No. Getting rid of a lot of I'm saying but getting rid of a lot of the customizable features, so you can't change any of the attires of the in-game rosters. But if you want to buy packs with randoms or a la carte for more money, buy your costume for Edge, buy your costume for Roman Reigns, buy your separate attire for Scott Steiner. So it's only cosmetic. You can use it anywhere in the game, but you can no longer in-game edit the wrestlers' attires. And the only way you can really customize things is through create a wrestler. Because that moving forward, that would probably make them a lot more money.
So basically, you think it would become a live service with them actually creating the custom attires and putting them in the game for us to pay for? Is that what you mean?
My point, it's more of every year we get 7 versions of Undertaker or 6 versions of Triple H or whatever it is. Now you get one. You want the other versions? You're paying for them a la carte, each one, but you're not paying for the base game.
I don't think they'll do that.
I'm just saying, would that be a more sensible solution to them though than this?
No, I'm not gonna say
if they want to go the avenue of locking attires behind cards. If you're gonna do that, then make it a free-to-play game and then charge for your cosmetics.
Okay, so the reason
that
why
to me is the other option. If you're already paying $60 for it, it makes no sense to me that you're locking when you can already edit attires. Locking attires behind it's retarded to me. It doesn't make sense in my brain.
Right, but the reason why I say that wouldn't work is because the attires, yes, they're locked in behind this mode, but there's so much more in the game, and we do get a huge roster with the game and things like that. And another thing is, I feel like they make way too much money in with game sales to give that up for the cosmetic things and things like that, which I know that it worked for Fortnite. I just don't think that this game is as big for it to work for WWE.
Oh yeah,
which you don't think it would be bigger if it was free?
If
you don't think they'd have more
I think it'd get more
downloads?
I think it'd get more users. I think it'd get more users. I just don't know if people are going to spend as much money.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
don't know. I feel like kids are happy to spend money on cosmetics for a lot of games. That I personally
now that makes sense. Like they want to get down the aspects right first with us. Like okay, let's get people paying money, and then they'll probably think about going free to play. But looking at other 2K games or FIFA or NFL, those are still yearly games, and
that's my point. That's my point, because they still sell the game, and then there's people like me who are idiots who still spend a lot of money on their Ultimate Team mode. So it just there's always gonna be the people actually supporting it. Me on the WWE side though, I will not be supporting that BS that they're doing over there. I will not play that mode. But that's just what it is. I just don't think they'll ever make the game free for those reasons. In the future though, I mean, if this mode becomes as big as they want it to become, because they gotta have plans for it. There's just no way they don't. It's only a second year installment, so maybe the third year we really see some changes, and maybe people actually like to start the mode. But we don't know, so it just depends.
I just need the Undertaker with the white mask and the purple outfit. That's all I need.
Do we think this could be an avenue for Fight Forever moving forward if they do move to PS Plus and Game Pass in the store? Because we're always complaining that the store has nothing for you. They start charging $2 an attire or something because the game is now free on Game Pass, PS Plus, and everything else. It's a way for them to monetize the new users if you want that new Chris Jericho attire or that classic Jericho attire, whatever it is, because those right now, they're throwing them out there like we got I think, 5 new Wardlow attires or a couple new Wardlow attires, something like that. Yeah. Stuff like that, I'm saying if you put the game out to a lot more players on a free, because it might not be a WWE thing because they have huge sales, Fight Forever not having that and they don't want to come out with a new one, it's going to be a live service. Would that make sense for them to just throw out $1, $2 packs and just now you have it?
I think so. I think that would
here
make
you go.
sense.
Here's the tires.
That's the way you go.
That'd be a good way for them to monetize.
Yeah.
Put it on.
That's the way you go with how sales went.
Yeah, put it on Game Pass and maybe sell every wrestler. But what would be a good price point? Because nobody wants to buy like a $30 pack. But what should they charge? Like $3 per wrestler, $5 per wrestler?
Nah, wasn't back then. Back in the day. I mean, I know we're in a completely different era of microtransactions. But I remember for like WWE 12 and 13, and they had like these wrestlers that were like $1 or $1.50. It wasn't that much money at the time.
I think it was like $2 Canadian for me.
Yeah.
Or you could get a pack of like 6 or 7 of them for $10 kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
You bundle them, or you can do them a la carte for a little bit more. I'd say $3 a wrestler. I say $3 a wrestler. You get a pack of 5 of them for 10. You know what I mean? So you pick the wrestlers that aren't going to be bought, like a Bunny and a whatever, and you bundle them in with like a Will Ospreay kind of thing. So you have the option of Will Ospreay for $3 or $5, or you can get the pack with him in it that gives you the extra characters you might not get for 10, right? I think that would be a good price model. $3 a wrestler, $10 for a pack of 5, and then you maybe charge $1 or $2 per attire for like an extra attire if you want them. I honestly think that these companies, though, I can say what's a fair price and what I think people would pay, and then they always overshoot that by 5, 10, 6 times, right? Like in Destiny 2, I see this all the time. I see this in Destiny 2 for just like a weapon skin, and they want like $12 for it. It's like, what the fuck are you, a weapon skin? When this game has like 500 different weapons, one weapon skin for an exotic, you want like 10, 12, whatever. It's ridiculous. So
That's on
these
the low
companies,
side too.
that's what I mean. It's just, it depends on what it is, right? And like,
Yeah.
So
just,
Jay
it's
Barnacles,
crazy.
just said, I hate that WWE 2K has 15 different versions of John Cena that actually take up 15 different roster spots instead of having alternate attires.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes it makes
Thank
sense. Like if you're using like let's say Thugonomics John Cena, he might have had a different move set. And you use a different spot for that one, which you could still put him in the same spot, just like kind of. I don't know how you.
I
do
have
it,
to
but-
ask if these wrestlers have a single different move set at all.
Yeah,
Because
do
I'm
they
pretty sure
normally have
every
different
version of the
moveset?
Undertaker. No, they have the same exact move
That's
set.
bad.
They have
Yeah.
the same exact move set, and that's why it never made sense to me.
Yeah.
The only thing that changed was I remember when they had like Kane in the 90 and then Kane or whatever, Kane 99 versus Kane 2008. They'd have
Or
different
or
stats.
something.
They
Yeah, I
give you a
think
little
that's
bit.
the only really
The moves
acceptable
were the
way to
same,
do
but the
it.
stats would change. And I'm like, why do you need the stats to change? Let me just.
I got one
manual.
question though. Like, can you not do this? The thing we're wishing for right now in No Mercy, or is it modded?
No, in regular No Mercy, you have different attires. Every character has 4 attires. And for like a Jim Ross, attire 1 was Jim Ross, number 2 was Jerry Lawler, number 3 was Pat Patterson, 4 was Gerald Briscoe. They all had the same move set, but it was like they would just, for lesser characters, you just have 4 different characters on one spot.
Like you have
And
Biker
for Austin,
Undertaker,
you have his street clothes and you have his
Undertaker.
vest.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so that is
Yeah.
the way they did it.
That's the way it
before.
always should have been. I don't know why that ever changed.
I don't
All
know
right,
if
so
you
bef-
guys have ever played. Sorry,
No,
Dead
no,
or
go ahead.
Alive, the Dead or Alive series. Dead or
Yes.
Alive 5 had a paid version, and they had a free-to-play version. And in the free-to-play version, and AEW could do this, and it would probably take no effort other than just dissecting the game. So
Yeah.
basically, you have the complete edition, so to speak, with how it is now,
Mhm.
and then you take it and you separate everything, and then it rotates the free character when you start, when it's free to play. You pay for all the costumes. You pay for the character itself. It was like $8 a piece or something like that. AEW could go that route, have the paid game or like it is now, and then also have it all broken up like this, just to get in new players for the free to play version, like you were saying, Mr. Dubs, and really just get people in the door. And then if they like it, maybe they'll buy a character or a skin or something here or there. That would be a great way to help the game get revenue without having to do anything. So
like that
and
would
then
work.
the money,
for
the money they
like-
get from that, they could put into the game, hopefully, and not in their pockets, and actually make the game better. Match types, we've said it 1,000 times. Anyway,
Well, that's
so-
my biggest thing right now is I don't want new players coming to the game in the state it's in.
Okay.
I want the
Yeah, they
game
gotta
to
get some
be
fixes going,
fixed. They need to put a few fixes in there before they put it on Game Pass or whatever else. Because if new players come in, great. We'll have for 2 weeks a whole bunch of new players. Then they're all going to fall off too for the same problems we have, that there's no reason to play the game.
Yeah.
Right. So before they put it out to a mass bigger audience and go free to play, I really hope they just do a balance tuning and a little bit of an overhaul and bring out those matches at a Road to Elite.
Man, are we talking about the game or the TV show right now?
Hey, no shots at the
I
TV
mean-
show. No shots at the TV show. But yeah,
I
Clint,
still
don't
enjoy
know.
the TV show week to week.
I don't know if we want to go to Dead or Alive route. Did you see the price of some of those costumes on there?
Oh,
yeah, that's what I was saying.
Thousands of
Yeah,
that was
costumes.
insane.
There's no way you can
Ridiculous.
buy all of those. All right, but let's go ahead and move forward. So before we get to the big patch news, Triple H has taken over creative in WWE 100% this time, allegedly. I still don't. We'll get to that, but
Yeah.
what do y'all think? Do y'all think he actually has control? Do y'all see a positive outlook on this, or how do y'all feel about Triple H taking control after all these years of being under Vince McMahon? The WWE is actually moving forward. What do you think about it, Clint?
Well, we'll see in the coming months how things go. I mean, all this behind the scenes chatter with like, oh, so and so did this or so and so did this. We'll never really know until
Yeah, right.
Vince is unfortunately passed away. You just won't know. But I think if it's true, I think it'll be a lot better, or at least different, because Vince's way of thinking worked back in the 80s and 90s, but I don't know. I feel like he was just throwing matches together and just putting Brock, more Brock. Let's have another Brock,
Yeah. But he
I'm
built
very
those
curious to see what
guys,
he
so
does.
I'm not
next.
mad at him for it. I mean, those are kind of
I mean,
his
Brock's awesome,
creations.
but-
Yeah.
Brock and Roman, WrestleMania, confirmed.
Again.
Number 10.
What do you think, Ryan? Do you see a positive outlook on this?
Yeah, I do see a positive outlook. I think Triple H being able to actually run the company, it's a really fresh look, in my opinion. I think they need somebody that hasn't been actually running the company. I feel like Vince McMahon also lost his touch a little bit. A lot of the stuff just wasn't clicking and working anymore. So I am a fan of Triple H and what he's doing. I feel like he's gotten me back into wrestling a lot more with what he has been doing. So definitely looking forward to see what he does with Full Creative, because it sounded like Triple H was in control, but he wasn't in control.
Yeah.
It was almost like Vince McMahon was telling him, all right, this is not going, but Triple H has some control for other stuff, but some of the stuff was not going because Vince McMahon said so.
Yeah.
So it's cool to hear that Vince McMahon is not part of it, but I will say they did my boy Vince McMahon dirty, because man, it sounded like he was going to be part of the creative, and he's just getting thrown under the bus.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's funny how things come around in a circle, because Vince McMahon sold the company thinking he was going to get some creative power back, and now he lost a lot of power, and now it's like, okay, he definitely got a lot of money for it, but definitely has thrown me off a little bit, the way that they've been treating him and going publicly saying the stock's been dropping because of him.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Yep. What do you think about it, Beast? Do you tune into Raw, SmackDown, or just watch pay-per-views?
I can't watch 3 hours of Raw, but I watch like the clips on it, and I've heard people say that the shows have been good ever since he's had like 100% control. Like last week, I believe.
Last week was a really good show.
Yeah. I heard Raw was a good show. So, and I was a big fan of Triple H when he ran NXT around like 2018, 2019, when NXT was at its peak. So I think it's a good move. Like Vince does not need being creative.
Yeah.
I think Vince McMahon kept overruling Triple H and changing some of his ideas. So he's out of touch. I'm afraid to say it, but he is. I mean, this is not the Attitude Era. It's not.
Yeah.
But it's a good. You can tell he's running the show too, because Ricochet is on TV. You got Johnny Gargano back on TV because he was gone for months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
That
Triple H
Ricochet spot was amazing last night, by the way.
Yeah.
When he held the fan's hand and did the flip, or that one?
Yeah, when he did the flip in the crowd, that was awesome. I honestly, in the Vince McMahon era, I feel like we're not seeing that on like TV on Monday Night Raw for free. We would maybe see it in a pay-per-view, but at least lately, it was definitely cool.
Yeah.
The Bronson Reed match was awesome too. The Intercontinental title match.
Yeah,
that was a great finish, man. That was
great
a great
show. And I like that the GMs are back as well. It gives it a nice little touch again.
Nick Aldis.
Yeah. But see, a lot of times, like when we had the GMs, everybody was complaining about them and say, "Oh, we don't need GMs. We don't need this and that." And I'll say this, like, you know, Vince McMahon is gone. I think it is time for him to leave. But you know what, Vince, just growing up my whole life, you know, WWF, WWE, it's always been so good. You know, it had its up and downs, and everybody would always complain saying they didn't want this to happen or that to happen. But now that Vince is gone, everybody's going to get what they've been asking for, because it's going to be completely different than what we saw before. Sure, Triple H learned from Vince McMahon, but we're going to see Triple H's perspective on how these things run. And we'll see if he can make it as good as it was when Vince was in his prime, because this is a fresh starting point. So if we're going to get back to those Attitude Era days or whatever, we're going to see what Triple H's Attitude Era days looks like. So I'm interested to see how that goes. We're going to have Triple H versus Tony Khan moving forward.
Yeah.
And I think Tony's going to take it. So what do you got to say about what do you got to say, Mr. Dubs?
Tony Khan can compete with Triple H.
What do you think about taking over?
Selfishly, I really enjoyed when Triple H had taken over, and then Vince was just like, just kidding. And would just come, nope, we're going to change. Because it was only good for AEW. Like, I just wish AEW was running its best storylines when Vince McMahon was literally just trying to shovel everything over to AEW's side. And everybody's like, I want to go back to WWE. Triple H is in charge. And Vince is like, just kidding. They're like, no, forget it. No, I didn't ask for my release. No, I didn't want to leave. No, I love AEW. It's great. It's great here.
Yeah.
So know that if Triple H really is in full creative control and over there, I just worry for AEW's sake, because there's a lot of people on that roster that were fine to work for Triple H, but definitely would never work for Vince McMahon again.
True.
And that's if for me, from a selfish perspective, because I watch AEW every week, WWE, I'll watch clips or listen to reviews, whatever. So it just worries me that I'm going to lose a lot of people I enjoy watching week to week on AEW, having them move over. But I mean, that's such as life. That's trades in any sports. That's just the way of the road. But I think for WWE's product, I think it's going to be nothing but a good thing, because of how the bloodline and all the stories that seemed to really gain momentum in WWE from all the reviews and everybody, all the stuff people seemed to like was when Triple H initially took over. And then the things that people didn't like was we'd find out that Vince McMahon changed things last minute on a random Raw that he happened to show up to, right? So it just seemed like that a lot of the stuff that people were enjoying and the stuff that was bringing their audience back was Triple H inspired. And when Triple H was running NXT, that was literally the only time I was watching NXT, because NXT was just had all the stars. You know, when it had Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, like everybody was hot. It was this incredible product that had all the indie guys and everybody you wanted to see on it. And then seeing those guys come up, like when Kevin Owens first came up to Raw, I was like, and beating John Cena, I was like, oh my God, they're like literally booking things right. So if they continue that kind of booking pattern and do that for a while, I honestly could start watching WWE on a regular basis again. Yeah. I always would fast forward through a 3-hour Raw to the points that I want to see. But if that kind of stuff happens, because Triple H's guys are all guys I liked. I love Finn Balor. I love AJ Styles. I love Kevin Owens. I love Sami Zayn. Like a lot of the Triple H guys, I love Bobby Roode. I had a Bobby Roode short shirt, the Glorious thing. Loved that angle. I thought it was hilarious and great. So a lot of the booking decisions he was making in NXT and through WWE, I think it's probably only for the best, just because Vince has been too old and out of touch for 10 years. Right. I mean,
what about you, Kiddo?
For me, two main things come to mind, and number one is the professionalism or the order of things being much better under Triple H, as said so by all the people that actually work in production, in like marketing and all like the backstage stuff. Like I remember news about that being like, oh my God, this finally feels like an actual real company. Whereas with Vince McMahon, as Dubs said, like he would rip up the entire script like in the last 10 seconds and here you go. What are you going to do now? It's like, I would assume it'd be an extremely stressful place to work. So like, even in that aspect, if that gets better, I think it's going to be better for the product moving forward. And number two, like what I've noticed, and I think it's pretty easy to notice, is that Triple H actually does care about the newer guys. Like he's trying to, push guys like Shinsuke again, Bronson Reed and Gunter is here now, and Johnny Gargano's back, Tommaso Ciampa. Under Vince McMahon, I don't know where he would be, like especially after what he's done with The Miz. Maybe he'd be gone forever. But now he's getting, his due as well a little bit, and I love that. In the women's division, we have Nixon Newell coming up, the damage control thing. Now, not everything Triple H has tried worked, and it's not gonna work, in the future. There's no guarantee, but at least he's trying new things and trying to what do you call it, grow new stars, which is extremely important, which I think WWE has been lacking majorly for the past 20 years, like besides a couple of big names in the Ruthless Aggression era, and then we have the Shield around the 2010s. Like, who did we ever have? And it looked like it was going to be moving forward with Vince McMahon. Every single WrestleMania, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar would have Goldberg until he was like a skeleton. He'd come back and keep wrestling. We just have the same old guys from 20 years ago, and that's great. Like, I love him. But we needed the new stars, and the fact that Triple H is now seemingly focusing on that's good. I hope it is true. I hope he has a lot of the control now, creative control. And, I love Vince McMahon, but there is a time and a place for everything, and his time and place is kind of past.
Yeah.
But yeah, and until he dies, we'll never be sure. That's a good quote.
All right. What about you, Unsanctioned TV? Hey, fellas, y'all check the Twitter chat before we move forward. But what do you think about it, Unsanctioned TV? Yeah, the Twitter chat.
You mean the live chat?
I would definitely say that it is a huge weight lifted off my shoulders, because I'm not gonna lie. I know that Vince McMahon was in the back chomping at the bit, waiting for his moment to pop out of the shadows and say, "It was me all along, you son of a bitch." I just knew it was coming, man. Vince McMahon coming back in charge. That's all you got now. But yeah, I'm glad Triple H is finally in his rightful position, in full control, because this is how it should be. Like y'all were saying, I really enjoyed what he did with NXT. I did catch Raw. I enjoyed that too. And if we could have episodes like that going forward, the possibilities are endless. You know, a while back, what was Ricochet doing? You had my boy running around the arena like a madman with a 24/7 championship. I damn near shed a tear. Now, fast forward, he's doing shooting stars in the crowd, hitting backflips up the LED board. Like, I'm loving the direction. I really am. But like Dub said, I'm kind of worried. Because when Vince was in charge, we were like, okay, I'm putting myself in the position of a free agent. You were like, I don't like what's going on that side. I don't think I want to go over there. But now that Triple H is in charge, you're like, I might have a clear direction now. I might have a better opportunity. Look at Jade Cargill, prime example. She hasn't even had one single match yet, but you could just feel the aura. Like, she's going to be a megastar.
Right. I agree. They're positioning her really well.
Wardlow.
Yeah.
They threw her in there with Charlotte.
Wardlow.
Oh, Wardlow's coming.
I think even Lex King,
Triple
his
H already.
package
Oh,
was.
yeah. He had a good package too. Whoa, it was kind of crazy, but yeah, the Legacy King stuff was cool too. But yeah, I think Triple H definitely probably already had some conversations with Wardlow. Probably already had some conversations with Hobbs. But that's good to point out there on Sanctioned TV. Because Ricochet, he was good when he was in NXT. I thought he was going to go to the moon, but he got on the main roster. I think it was really his personality that kind of Vince didn't believe in, and he really didn't give him anything. So with Triple H being fully in charge now, I think it's a good time for Ricochet to shine, especially if they don't want him to leave.
I have a question for people who watch more WWE week to week these days, or at least since Triple H has taken over. I know Vince hated managers, like hated them for the last 20 years. Paul Heyman's one of the few, and Lana were the few that we would see on WWE TV. How does Triple H feel about having talking mouthpieces like managers and stuff? I know they wanted to do that with Adam Cole and just make him a manager, but other than that, are we getting more managers for a mouthpiece for a Ricochet?
I'd say more factions than managers.
Sure, lots
a
of
lot
factions.
Of people are grouping up now.
But they don't have many just Paul, other than just Paul Heyman himself. They don't have guys like that.
Not
really.
I know
Dutch Mantel was cool when he was with We the People and all that. But I'm just curious if it was different with Triple H.
I think we should get more managers in WWE. I think that is I think there are quite a few guys that do need mouthpieces. I feel like Ricochet is a big one for sure. If you give Ricochet a mouthpiece, the sky's the limit for him for sure.
Brock Lesnar knew that when he first came back after UFC and everything. His first promo out there, he went backstage and said, "Get me Paul Heyman." Get me Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this every week. So, and then look what he became. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep, bigger than he ever was. I still don't think he should have beat the Undertaker, but yeah, it was cool.
Nope.
Same, I agree.
That's all another kind of worms.
Roman Reigns should have beat the Undertaker.
No one should have beat.
Nobody should. Did you say Roman Reigns should have beat the Undertaker?
No.
He did beat him. I think the year after, right?
Yeah.
Somebody boot Brian out of this Discord real quick.
Listen, man.
And if they were gonna have them lose,
but that was big.
It should have been Bray.
Yeah, it was big though. When he came out and he said, "This is my yard now." That was a classic moment. Yeah. He came out there and they booed him for 5 to 10 minutes.
That was one of his best promos.
One of the best.
That should have been the heel turn. That should have been the
yes.
That's when we should have saw the big dog should have gone away and we should have got the tribal chief right there.
Oh, we got a symbol in the building. Yeah.
We lose Dubs once a stream.
Yeah. We got a symbol, by the way, like that section said.
Some symbol
up in the chat.
I don't know. Am I?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, you're back.
On my screen, I don't see it, right? So I just see it in the chat. Okay.
Oh, we got a symbol in the chat. What's up, a symbol? Yeah.
What's up, symbol? How you doing, brother?
What up? Yeah.
But I'm more hell yeah guy.
That's the bottom line.
Cause Stone Cold. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get to the final news bit of the night. Now, we've been waiting for AEW to come out with this patch, or Ukes, or whoever handles the patches, to come out with a meaningful patch for how long now? It's been, 2-3 months since the games come out? And we've gotten these small patches, sure, but we didn't get a meaningful patch yet. But if you go to Nexus Mods, the PC players actually have a great patch now with a lot of the stuff we've been asking for since this game was out. So this comes from Melon Bread, and he calls it, let me find the name of it, gameplay. It's a gameplay overhaul mod. Longer matches, more kickouts, and better gameplay. Let's go through some of the stuff he has included in this mod. So player health and limb stamina increased. Passive skills tweaked. The momentum has been nerfed, but things like finisher reversals have been buffed. Now, let's talk about that. Finisher reversals in AEW Fight Forever. Have they been working like y'all expect them to, or do y'all notice that it's harder than it should be to reverse a finisher? Anybody can take it.
I'll just say,
So
it feels like jumping into an ocean. You never know what you're gonna find. You like.
That's the best way to describe it, to be honest.
What do you
if
think?
you
Mr.
actually go into the training in the regular Fight Forever,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll tell you your timing for reversals, like too early, too late, whatever. When you're doing it against finishers, it literally tells you you timed it right, but you didn't have enough energy or whatever. But I set it so both, like, and it says you would think that would mean spirit meter, but I had both spirit meters set to in special just to test out the reversing, and it'll still randomly, even if you time it correctly, not give you the reversal.
Okay.
So there's
is it
definitely
good?
a timing to it,
Would y'all
but
say
you can't always reverse it even if you time it perfectly. Same with signatures.
okay, but would y'all say it's a good thing that they buffed the reversals, the finisher reversals? Good. Okay.
Yeah,
Sure,
So
yeah.
that's another
Definitely
thing
a
that
good
they
thing.
fixed.
Definitely.
Because they were very rare.
Yeah.
I think that they need to make it so you can kick out of a first finisher and
Yeah,
stuff.
so let's
Stuff
finish
like
going
that
through them
too.
because there's a lot of fixes they have in here. So the next one says signature damage reduced, and I think that's a good thing depending on the wrestler you're using because we know with
Yes.
Kenny Omega you can hit like 1,000,000 of those snapdragons
Snapdragon.
back to back. It's trouble.
Forever.
And if you get with somebody like V, I saw him on Twitter just going crazy with them. So I think that's good, the signature moves. But I mean, some people with the like Warlow signature, I think it's fine because you can only hit it like one. Well, no, those power bombs get.
Oh yeah, you love that unyielding pose, don't you?
Yeah.
He loves
Don't
unyielding
nerf Warlow. Keep Warlow as he is. So the next one says time-based momentum boost postponed to later in the match and slightly nerfed. So time-based momentum boost. Y'all know what that is?
I didn't have no clue that was in the game, but now that I know, kind of makes sense. Some of the things that I was seeing later in the match.
So
Okay.
which one is that for? Because there was a lot of different momentum boosts and some that were time-based, and I can't remember them all because it's been so long.
I have no idea.
Yeah, he doesn't include it here. It just says
It
that
just
it was
says
nerfed
time-based.
slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this next one I think is a really good fix. Deathmatch explosion timer changed from 2 minutes to 7 minutes. The fact that it's 2 minutes right now and it just explodes and then it's just a normal match, I didn't like that. But I think the reason they did it is because the matches in AEW Fight
That's
Forever don't go
sure.
long at all. So
Yeah, yeah.
with them like boosting the health and the stamina, I think that'll be a lot better to increase it to 7 minutes since the matches actually go longer.
Agreed. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So I think that's something they need to implement in a future patch that we can get on consoles as well. Because if you can make the matches go longer, I think I would enjoy that barbed wire match a lot more.
Mhm.
Absolutely, yeah.
So these patches obviously are only for the PC version of the game.
Mhm.
But if you're running, is there any way for any of the mods to work online? I know for a gameplay overhaul that wouldn't work. But is there any way where, like, if you had character mods, for instance, so that on your screen you're still seeing that and able to use, an edge that was or anything like
Yeah,
that?
I don't think you can.
There's no way to play with
Unless
that
you're
online.
talking parsec or something like that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You may see it, but
That's
they
what
are
I'm
not
saying.
going
It's
to
like
share.
for like games like Street Fighter V, I had mods where I could play as Venom, but he was only looking like Venom on my screen.
Yeah.
So if I stream it though, I still have
Yeah.
Venom in the characters I have. It's just they're not seeing that on their screen. I'm wondering for like created, like modded characters like a Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton. If I got those and I was playing a match online with them, would I still be able to play with them and see them like that? It's just the other guys would see a default.
Yeah, but it
creator.
wouldn't make sense for like mods like this. But
Right. Yeah.
No,
I mean, the only
I know
thing
a mod
is
like this.
that-
I was just curious with the mods in general, if anything were.
Yeah. With that, it's just that situation. They said they'll ban you if you go in there with a mod. So it's like that combo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a code of conduct thing, right?
Usually, yeah. For most games, that's the case.
all right, the next one he has here is match scoring changed to reflect longer matches with more moves. So it kind of makes sense. You got to scale the, which I don't know, the star meter, the star ratings at the end of the match, they seem to be all over the place. Because sometimes when we're playing those online matches and this long match, you get 2 stars. I'm like, what? Well, you definitely feel like it was a 7-star match. So.
Yeah.
It wasn't in Japan.
Yeah, I think they need to just fix that altogether in the real game. So signatures and finishers now remove less momentum from an opponent. I don't like that one. How do y'all feel about it?
I'd have to play the game like with that
see?
mod to see,
Yeah.
feel it.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I think when you hit your signature or finisher, it should be crushing their spirit meter.
Yeah.
But also make it more, then, especially if you're making it easier to reverse signatures and finishers. Like, I don't think it should necessarily be easier to reverse them. I feel like they should just get rid of if you time it correctly, it reverses every time. You know what I mean? So if you're timing your reversal correctly, it reverses every single time, not like a random chance when it's a signature or finisher, right?
Yeah, I think there should be.
Because that way, I don't think you should change the spirit meter, because if they fix the reversals, then it's up to you to time it properly to reverse it, and then they lose spirit meter. I don't think if you hit someone with your finisher, they should still be in a flashing red or orange and one move away from a finisher themselves.
I like the way it is right now, because if you take let's say you're getting just beat and, you seem like you have no chance, but somehow, you get that little window where you turn it around and you get that momentum and you hit them with your finisher. I think it's a good way to punish it, make their momentum drop all the way down. So, I mean, that could be good or bad. A lot of these things I would like to see toggles on. So if it doesn't work the way I want them to, you can just turn them off and on. But, I don't know.
But all these changes are, again, for single player, right? So I'm not going to play.
Well,
this is all against CPU, right?
We're looking at this based on.
We can't play this online.
We're looking at this based on somebody releasing this patch, and the folks at THQ or Ukes not releasing a patch like this with gameplay fixes that we've been asking for. And THQ's community manager, he took that list of things we wanted fixed, and a lot of this stuff is on that list, but not one of those things have been fixed yet. Yet
also,
somebody
this is one person.
Yeah, I guess so.
One person.
Is anybody familiar with
Did Melonbread do all this?
Melonbread? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's the only one on this list.
If it's the same Melonbread, I'm assuming it is. It's the guy who does all the acting stuff as well. He charted out how much damage every single move and every single Aki game does, and how much it affects your meter. Like, he's got all the blueprints that UPW has been using as their Bible for making UPW.
Nice.
Have y'all done a lot of ladder matches in Fight Forever?
I've done a few.
Can't really connect to anybody to do a ladder match.
Roll to Elite. Probably.
Exactly, that's my same problem.
So it says it takes 20 hits to win the ladder mini game now instead of 10. So y'all noticing, or if y'all played it, did y'all notice it was too easy to get the belt or suitcase, whatever, down?
It was pretty easy.
Yeah.
So, they increased it.
But
to
you
20
can kind of
hits
just
instead of
let the computer grab most of it, and then you just knock them off and you take it. And then it's on the final run.
So they made taunting less effective. You can now manually bounce off of the ropes 4 times instead of just once. They enabled hot tags as well. And chain wrestling is available up to 50% health rather than becoming available at 75. Fixed issue with damage multiplier on finishers too. That's a good one, because if you get in there with Malachi Black and he starts hitting you with those kicks.
That leg sweep. Ooh-wee.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a quick question about this real quick though.
Yep.
So this patch is great. Now it makes me wonder though, how much money does THQ need to make something like this happen? Because our conversations are always, they may need more money. That's why they're not doing nothing. But this one person did this for free and gave it to us for free. So that's just where that conversation comes in for me. I'm like, how much money do you actually need to do something like this? Like, we're not asking you to remake the game. We're asking you to just balance some of this out. This feature's already in. So maybe it's not money. Maybe we just have to turn the issue elsewhere at this point, honestly.
The difference is passion. I think that when you have someone who's passionate about the game, they sink in the hours themselves. That's why I'm more excited about UPW all the time, because those are passionate people who are making a game that they want to play, that they, in the way they want to be, the Aki style and whatever, and all the updates they want to do outside of like DLC characters. From everything I understand, they want to be free. Like the season 2, like the 90s set of the storylines, new match types and stuff that come in the game. They want those to be free for the players who buy the base game. And they're passionate about it. So changes, abilities, fixes, they're going to be working on that because they're passionate about it. Whereas Ukes is just a company that just got paid money and they're like, okay, we used up all the resources you gave us. Either give us new resources or we're not doing anything. Like, we're not doing anything for free. They're just a company. They don't have any passion for this. Right, they've made wrestling games for 30 years. They're a business. They have people to pay hourly, wages, everything else. So, and they might not say, we won't do little things here. Either you give us a contract for the next 6 months, a year for X amount of dollars, or we do absolutely nothing. And that might be the stage we're at, where like, okay, they have guys doing mocap or whatever. THQ already said mocap means nothing. We do mocap for stuff or whatever, facial scans and stuff for things all the time. That doesn't mean we're getting any deals. It doesn't matter if they scanned Edge all they want. They could be doing that for future projects and just have it.
Right. But the main thing here, though, the main thing here is the fact that one person did this and we can't get the they're working on the game. Like B said, you can see they're working on the game every day, right? In Steam?
Yeah.
Every day?
Every day they're working on it, but what are you working on?
Literally every day, ever since the Hookhausen DLC, yeah.
Like, why can't we get the game balanced?
What are they doing?
If Melon Bread can do it, why can't they balance the game for us?
I wonder if they're working on like
career mode.
I wonder if they're working on like a giant, huge update, and they don't want to drip feed it because every little drip feed gets severe negativity. Maybe they're saving it for one giant update and then giving us the middle finger, like I said in the previous.
I love how
I hope they do.
Yeah. Gotta be 30 bullet points. Like, we fixed this move and this move and this move and this move.
Yeah, the list will be like 20 pages.
That's what I'm worried about, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, we fixed the animation in this.
Yeah.
And we fixed, when you're in Stadium Stampede, when you go into this one area, this case doesn't open properly, so you don't get the baseball bat. And this way, I don't care about those fixes.
We fixed the name of this move.
Yep. Yeah. We added a bin mechanic to Jungle Boy's boot.
Next patch.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Fixed an instance where Kenny Baum was winning matches by using Wardlow.
Hey, come on, man.
Come
on, man.
The big hit, but I don't know, because you can change moves of in-game wrestlers, right? You can change their moveset.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can.
I don't know.
So why haven't you changed Wardlow's signature in the corner, the big boot to the face? You love that. Why haven't you changed that to the finisher? Why haven't you changed it to the special move? Like,
no,
so
like to get
the
it
actual
the
finish.
Then you hit it. Then you.
You just like to do it a million times.
No, it is the finisher. The knee to the face.
Isn't that its signature?
No, that's his finisher. The signature.
I think it's
is it a finish in there?
Yeah,
okay, I thought by default it was a signature.
We hit a few F10 for signatures, and then.
F10
is
the
F10?
signatures.
Is the F10 the signature? I haven't played
I'm so
in so
confused.
long. I don't even know. I know you have the power bomb. I think the power bomb might.
I just know you love that boot in the corner,
Yeah,
and that is a sweet move. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's my finisher for him. Yeah. But all right, y'all. So we covered a lot of the topics tonight. Y'all want to hit the chat for a second? Anybody in the chat got something you want to point out? John Keegan says death matches are fun. Oh, John Mox. Death match reminds me of John Moxley now. There are no.
I think what Unsanctioned pointed out in the death matches a long time ago, he made a video on how to get outside of the ring in it. And I don't think that got nearly enough coverage. And I think that should be a feature that's added because it's so hard. You have to have two controllers to recreate it. Like, you can't do it just against a CPU, or it's like 1 in a million chances you'll make it happen. But that's so cool when you can wander around the ring, get weapons, do stuff, bring them back in. That made that match so much cooler looking to me, and I don't know how that didn't get more traction. I love that video. I loved hearing that. And that was so cool.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So we've reached our limit here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. If y'all haven't already, please do us a favor and drop a like on the video. We're going to let Brian take us out.
All right, man. As it goes every week, if you're still here right now, if you've been here throughout the whole podcast, or if you're watching us on demand on the channel, we do appreciate you. Make sure to go on ahead, check everyone's channel out. Appreciate you guys for watching, and we're just going to keep doing this, man. So once again, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. This is the channel where all of the content will be going up on.
And we're going to be doing a lot more than a podcast. So just make sure y'all stay tuned. And if y'all haven't already, subscribe to the team. Everybody's handles are in the comment or description of this video. Thank y'all again. WGC, what is it? Oh, we still got to think about a name. We still got to think about a name. Y'all, listen, we're going to tell y'all right now on this chat. It's not going to be WrestleBomb next week. We will officially have a name. Right, guys?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. If the chat has any suggestions, drop them now.
Chat, you know what? Let's give them
Let us
another
know,
second.
man.
If you got a suggestion on a name, drop it in the chat
truly
right
need
now.
it.
And you know what? I still didn't do the 20K giveaway. So if somebody gives us a good name in the chat right now, let's give it.
There you go.
What do y'all gonna say? 5-10 minutes? How long should we give them?
5 minutes is good.
5
Yeah,
minutes. We're gonna
5
give it
minutes,
5
yeah.
minutes. If somebody can give us a name in the chat right now, we're gonna do the giveaway live on this spot. If you want
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, let's do it. You want Mortal Kombat 1, let's do it.
Okay.
You want AEW Fight Forever, let's do it. Whatever.
Oh,
Name for the
if
channel,
you want
right?
Fight Forever,
Please
Yeah.
do not
Nobody
waste
can
your
leave.
giveaway
You want some
redemption on this.
free love? We got it
Nobody
right.
can
You know what?
leave.
I'm gonna put it on
You-
Twitter right now too.
you better ruin somebody's October.
UFC 5. Come on, y'all. We got a lot of games coming out. Who got a name for us right now?
Kenny about to make me come up with a name, man. Come on.
Hey, if you come up with a name right now, I'll give it to you.
Let me make my burner right quick.
There you go.
Nah, y'all in.
So
All right, we
you
got
said
into
about 5-10 minutes. I don't want to like start a conversation that's lasts for another half hour or anything, but do you think AEW the game has left a bad taste in players' mouths that have started
Ooh.
playing wrestling games that haven't really played wrestling games in a long time? It's like, this is how they are now. Yeah, I'm done with wrestling games.
I
Do you
don't think
feel
so.
like that's happened?
personally.
I would say,
Go ahead.
The game
Go on.
engine is fun.
Yeah,
What did I
exactly.
say?
Yeah, it's fun.
Go ahead, WGC. Go ahead on Central TV.
yeah. Well, what I was about to say is, I feel like it did rub some people the wrong way because I've heard I've gotten plenty of comments like, "Oh my goodness, see, this is why 2K. I'm never buying another wrestling game unless it's 2K. AW this, AW this." I'm like, damn, man. Like, I get it. I got hurt on that too. I wasted $80 too. But I'm gonna purchase more wrestling games in the future and test them out because at the end of the day, competition is good. So Ultra Pro Wrestling, Ultra Violence Wrestling, the Wrestling Code. I'm gonna give every wrestling game a chance. 'Cause
Hopefully
that's
we
what we
see 'em,
need.
man.
It's more variety.
Yeah. Hopefully we see the wrestling code soon. I'm
I hope so,
ready to
man.
see some from that game. Start getting a lot of coverage out on it and stuff like that. Just to have more fun, because I don't really got nothing fun to cover right now. Mortal Kombat is already out and done with. I think the wrestling code is kind of like the next one I'm excited about. The UFC community is very negative. Have you noticed that on Section TV?
Oh, got another video on that too, man. Things have gotten pretty hectic these last 24
Yeah.
to 48 hours.
They
Oh, really?
crazy.
What about the coverage
4.5
you've
is
got
what they're
on?
calling it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what they're
UFC
calling it.
4.5.
If you say anything
yeah,
positive
yeah.
about the game,
Oh,
they come
no.
at me. I'm like, oh man.
The last
come
one
on,
I
y'all.
played was
Trying to
2,
boost
so I'm
it
not
up.
gonna complain. I mean, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
notice the
What
differences,
about the
so-
undisputed Forever like mod that you guys were talking about? You
Man,
made a
I
video
love
on.
it.
Like in a good reception.
Oh yeah, that's
No,
getting
that-
some
that
that's getting
was-
some great reception.
Yeah, that was
'cause
cool.
that's-
It's
that
just
sounds
the
fun.
game.
I
The
haven't looked.
UFC 5.
That was the THQ games, but with an
Mhm.
updated roster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love those games, so I definitely did be down to check that one out.
All right, y'all. We don't got no names in the chat. We're gonna have to try to put something out.
What's wrong with WGC?
Shout out to Jay Barnacles though.
The
You know what, Jay
WGC.
Barnacles? You won the 20K subscriber giveaway. Hit me up on Twitter and I'm gonna get you something, whatever it is. But go ahead,
There you go, Jay Barnacles.
Jay
Sweet.
Barnacles. Been a supporter
That's
for a long
lucky.
time. One of the-
He's been a
Congrats,
supporter
man.
for a long time on Twitter and
Yeah,
everywhere else. Yeah,
I
man.
always see him
Love
everywhere.
it.
So yeah,
always
congrats,
see the same. Yeah, always supporting us.
That man's a plug, I swear. Every time some new news
Definitely,
comes
yeah,
out,
he
hey,
is.
Oh,
at
yeah.
Kenny,
Yeah,
at
tag
on
us,
Section
add us
TV.
all.
at-
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Very
Love it.
appreciated.
Love it. Always appreciated. Appreciate all you guys.
All right, guys. Thank y'all for stopping by. Jay Barnacles, hit me up on Twitter. We're gonna get something going for you. Thank y'all again for tuning in. Right now, WGC. Let's get to that.
See ya.
Sweet.